We use garlic every day. Whether one is Chinese, Italian, French, or Indian, it is one of the flavor bases of most of the world's cuisines. Some garlics, however, are more famous than others. There is one type of garlic known all over France that Michelin-starred chefs cannot stop praising, and which happens to grow next to where I live. Its pink color is distinctive. Some say that it is mild in flavor with a faint touch of sweetness. I am of course talking about the pink garlic from the city of Lautrec in the south of France.
My name is Graulhet, I'm a professional garlic lover, and today I'm taking you with me on my bike to discover this beautiful and lesser known region from the south of France where the pink garlic of Lautrec originated from.
So let me take you on a journey on the traces of the pink garlic. We finally arrived to our first stop of this trip. So it's a city called Graulhet. And Graulhet is like quite an interesting city. Like when I was young, I used to not really like it, but did some research and you just find like crazy stuff about it. It's a very ancient city, has been very well in the region since the Middle Ages. And yeah, quite a few nice things to check out, so let's go. The city center of Graulhet is full of hidden gems that hint toward the town's glorious past. Known since the Middle Ages for its leatherwork, it was, until recently, the largest production center of leather goods in France. The activity has since declined and almost disappeared when the production was moved to China. However, the tannery buildings, unavoidable in the city landscape, still stand to remind visitors of this golden age. The medieval streets and the old bridge also tells to whoever listens the story of the Aubijoux family that once ruled over the city. One of the most ancient and influential noble families in medieval France, its last member was the friend and protector of the famous writer Molière, who lived with him in his castle for 10 years. Okay, now it's time to be over with Graulhet and just continue the trip in direction to Lautrec. So Lautrec is not super far. It's 14 kilometers. So yeah, we should get there soon and just enjoy the landscape.
Okay, we finally reached Lautrec. Finally. Took a bit longer than I thought. We're just before the entrance of the village, in what used to be a lavatory. And what's interesting about this place is it's a reconstitution, so it was destroyed back in the days and they rebuilt it to look like the original. But it is where people back in the Middle Ages and even like recently, like pre-industrial time, were going to make the laundry. And also there is an interesting legend, which I'm not exactly sure if it's exactly here or slightly or like close to here, but there used to be a church which was outside the city, and the legend says that Charlemagne actually came here and was the one who put the first stone of this church. Of course, like with the development of the town, they decided to abandon the church and rebuilt it within the walls. But it's still a very cool story when you think about it. Not every town has a Charlemagne legend. Actually, if you like kind of like Roman history, I have a very nice fun fact about Lautrec. Here, the Romans had built a temple dedicated to Ceres, so it is the Roman goddess of agriculture, and it remained standing until the 7th century, which is quite a feat because pagan temples were usually not that resistant once the Christians were in power. We are here at Coast Gate, which is the last remaining gate from the 13th century that used to allow people to enter the medieval town through the walls. It's also like the last remaining part of the walls which are still standing, the rest having been demolished over the years. What is very interesting about this remain is that it gives an idea of how powerful Lautrec was during its golden age. Basically, we can say that between the 10th and the 15th century, Lautrec was really at its highest in terms of power and influence. The Lot of Lautrec was at an ideal place when it comes to defense, and like Lautrec was really a strategic location because you could see from very far away the enemies coming. And also, like all the population, when there was a time of crisis, all the population living around the city flocked there. Even like the Count of Toulouse, who was like the big power at the time in the region, like the big overlord in the region, had to listen to what the Viscount had to say. It says something about how strong he was. You can really see like this gradual growth in power in the wedding that happened in the 13th century between the Counts of Toulouse and the Viscounts of Lautrec, who had an alliance and like who basically like sealed it with a wedding and a marriage. And that's from this marriage that the Toulouse-Lautrec family is from, which is the same family as the famous painter Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec came from. And what is very amazing about Lautrec as a city, a medieval city, is that you still have lots of old houses and old buildings from like the 13th, 14th, 15th century, which are still standing and which are in a pristine state and which basically has remained untouched since then. Okay, we're just in front of the Collégiale Saint-Rémy, which is also like the Centralist Church. It's one of the oldest buildings in Lautrec, and it's very surprising place because it's so big, like it's more than 40 meters in length, and the painting inside is like also amazing. Really not something you would expect in such a small village, and it really tells you something about the history of the place. Some of the paintings are from the 19th century, a few are a bit older, but overall it's just like it's a must-see place when you come here. If you're looking for a quiet place when visiting Lautrec, go to the City Hall and ask to see the gardens. They are very, very nice, with like a very cool like French garden. Let me show you. Here we go. Like very nice French garden, and all kind of flowers, and it's just super peaceful and quiet. So if you just want to kind of rest for a couple of minutes, come here. And also there's something else which is worth having a look at, is a photo exhibition that you can see all around, which is not usually there. It's a recent addition, and the reason why they have done it is because usually at this time of the year you have the Pink Garlic Festival here in Lautrec, which is quite famous. You have all kind of attractions and food related to garlic, but because of COVID they had to cancel this year, so they tried to make up for it, and that's what they came up with, which is pretty nice and really adds something to the place. So I would definitely recommend if you have a bit of time. Shop in Lautrec at the moment is selling garlic. It's because we're just after the harvest season and the garlic just finished drying, so it's the beginning of the selling season basically, but it's pretty cool. You can smell garlic everywhere. We just climbed the staircase all the way to the windmill. Lautrec's windmill is very interesting because it's very old. It's a 17th century windmill, and it's one of the rare few functioning windmill in the southwest of France. What is very interesting there is that it used to no longer be working, and there is someone from Lautrec who was very sad about that, and who just took it upon himself to fix it. Took him quite a bit of time, but now the windmill is actually working and does flour, and I've heard that it is really what pushed the village to start doing a bread festival here, which I've seen kind of hints everywhere. I'm on a small trail which is going all the way up to the top of the hill, which is the highest point in Lautrec. And at the top of this hill you have what is called a Calvary, and it's just basically a statue of Jesus on his cross with some additional statues. So it's kind of a religious symbol, religious point. And in addition to that, you have the most beautiful view in all Lautrec, on all the countryside around. You can see as far as the Black Mountain.
I wanted to end this video by showing you one last place that I find incredible in this region. A couple of kilometers away from Lautrec, there is a castle standing on a hill. This place is beautiful and has a great history linked to a very famous painter that I cannot wait to tell you more about.
Here's my last surprise for this video. So I told you a bit earlier that the Toulouse-Lautrec family is linked to this region. Basically, it was born from the alliance between the Lautrec family, the Viscounts of Lautrec, and the Counts of Toulouse. And the famous painter Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec is basically a late inheritor of this lineage. So the castle just behind me, which is like super cool by the way, belonged to the family. So it belonged to the father of Henri. We have no proof that Henri actually came here, but I mean, it's possible. In any case, his father did and lived there. And so until like the early 20th century, like the castle was in good shape, let's say, but it had like some issues during the 20th century. You know, it's only ruins. But what is super cool here is that there is an association of people who love castles and who are trying to rebuild it based on like historical evidences and to make it look again like how it was back in the days. It's actually super old. It's from the 13th century. And like the whole project is super cool. I'm gonna do a separate video just on that. I'm gonna try to interview and give you more info about it. But it's really a project I find like amazing, and I really hope I'm able like to share more. In any case, at the end of this video, as you probably understood by now, like this first video was only about showing the place from where pink garlic is from, like the history, and like give you a sense of the environment. While like the second video, which is going to be the last on this topic, or hopefully, will really focus only on pink garlic, and I'm gonna interview some garlic farmers to give you like a bit more information and like to better understand what's so special about it. In any case, I hope to see you in the next video, and in the meantime, tschüss!